For 2016, as Ombudsman of St. Martin, I established the vision gearing up for excellence, gearing up towards excellence. And I have realized that with the frequent change of governments for the past 4 to 5 years, it is important to concentrate on the constant element within the government. And the constant element is the civil service corps. As such, we had 2 days working with civil servants on various aspects of the task, the service that government has to provide to the people. And in that idea of supporting each other as ombudsman of the Dutch Kingdom, we have used this meeting, this period, for the Netherlands and Curacao to support the ombudsman in St. Martin in the efforts. Monday morning, the ombudsman of the Netherlands did a session with the Secretary Generals, head of departments, and sector heads on politics and administration, where we elaborately discuss the difference between politics and administration, because no matter who sits on the chair of the minister, the show must go on. There are 7 ministries, 7 ministers, but there are about 1,600 civil servants. So no matter who sits there, the show must go on. That part, politics and administration, gave us a lot of information as well, because it has been an exchange on what the civil servants are experiencing as bottlenecks. The second session, which was Monday afternoon, was done by my colleague from Curacao, Mr. Kersley Concepcion. He did a session on internal complaint handling. The law provides that before a citizen goes to the ombudsman, they have to at least let that department know that they have a grievance. And what we realize, that the grievances of the people are most of the time not really handled or not properly handled. And the reason for that is often lack of an internal complaint procedure. Somebody complains, the letter goes somewhere, nobody looks at it, the person never hears about it. So Curacao has quite some experience with internal complaint procedures, so my colleague from Curacao handled that part. The third session with civil servants were with civil servants that deal a lot with the public and policymakers. In that session, which I facilitated, we dealt with understanding propriety, because propriety is the part that we as ombudsman investigate. We look at the relationship between government and the citizen, how government treats its citizen. So the civil servants have to understand propriety. What did we do in that session? It was a working session where the civil servants, first part of the session, they had to put on the cap of a citizen, and each group handled a case, that a real case that they brought forward, and looked at it, what could the citizen expect. The second part of that session was, okay, put on your cap of a civil servant now. How could you have handled the case to prevent the negative experience of the citizen? Because with the cap of the citizen, everybody felt the pain. So in the second part, okay, you're the civil servant. How could you have handled it, or how your department could have handled it? And of course, we can all identify problems, but ultimately it is about solutions. So the third part of that session was the participants, the attendees, as consultants. They were asked to identify at least 3 to 5 bottlenecks that civil servants experience in their daily operation in serving the public better, and advice on solutions how to deal with it. So those were the sessions for the civil servants. However, we have identified that other stakeholders, other high councils of state have a stake in it. Parliament, the ministers, of course, other high councils of states like the Council of Ministers, the General Audit Chamber. Something that you hear me talk a lot about is private entities with public authority. So in the afternoon, we had a session for those persons. And that's those sessions we had at a Great Bay Resort, where my colleague from the Netherlands, as the one having the longest experience as ombudsman, dus the country. Netherlands have a national ombudsman for more than 30 years. So he discussed the role of the ombudsman in relationship to other high councils of state. And we must say that the sessions, especially of the civil servants, were tremendously well attended. For the session with the high councils of state, I must say I expected a little more parliamentarians. 1/3 of them were there. Some ministers could not be there. However, it became a very lively interaction as well, because we could have used examples that we have heard in the morning in that session. This is to give you a broad scope of what was done.
Life is a journey full of connections. You're in safe hands even when life starts too soon. You don't have to miss a single beat. When a bad hair day makes you sad, just sharing can bring you joy and more to come. They take the plunge, turn fear into faith, while you capture those beautiful moments. In the game of life, it's family that counts. They'll be there even when you lose. We all have our moments of reflection and hope. And when you feel you're losing everything in life, we're there, because there's more to come. When life starts too soon, you don't have to miss a single beat. We're here to connect you and share life. Telcel, when you want more.
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Our friend Megawati is here with tips to save you energy. 1. Turn your airco temperature up. 2. Use a ceiling fan instead. 3. Buy energy-saving products. Save some green with NVGEBE.
Need a loan that's quick and easy. Island Finance. Up to 50,000 guineas really easy. Island Finance. For education, a renovation. That's no problem. Yes, it's true. That's not all. They're quick and friendly too. Island Finance. even fix your car. You can depend on Island Finance.
The Council of Ministers met with the members of the board of CFT, discussed the issues regarding the budget, expectations for the rest of the year, and the status where we're in now. As you know, the first quarter has been quite alarming in terms of the revenues that we had generated. But the numbers, the subsequent months, April and May, have shown a considerable improvement in the revenues, which were more than the revenues generated during those months in the previous year. The world is in turmoil. Brexit, slowdown globally, and that, of course, like we always say, when the United States sneezes, we catch a cold. It will have an effect on us. But the effect, I predict, is not going to be as disastrous as one would think. We're holding our own as far as tourist numbers are concerned up to now. The revenues are up, at least for March, for April and May compared to last year. So we've got to wait and see how those numbers play out the rest of the year. But I believe still, and I'm convinced that we will be able to hold our own. Part of the discussions that I've had with the CFT, as well during the Council of Ministers meeting, as well as the meeting I held with them after the Council of Ministers meeting, was focused on the tax department and the investment that is required to be able to make the tax department more efficient. I'm pleased to report that the CFT has an open mind and is positive in assisting in seeing how those investments can be obtained. And we are preparing the necessary information in terms of what we want to do short term. And based on that, we will be directing a request to the CFT to approve a loan so that we could start making some serious investments into the tax department.
Oh my, what an inventory list, and so unnecessary. But wait, your home contents are all insured by Be Sure. That means that you determine the amount you want to insure. No inventory list, no hassle.
Are you be sure? Be sure.
Bob, I can understand why you're parking so carefully. Of course, when you can get 80% discount on your Be Sure car insurance. But that's overdoing it, Bob.
Are you be sure? Be sure.
Yeah!
Here we go.
This is freedom, this is life. Happiness is all I'm seeking. Carpe diem, I'm seizing every day, not just the weekend. Here's to all the good times that have come to last. Here's to living in the now.
When you can afford what you crave, life just gets so
So
good.
alive and I'm feeling good, so good, so good, so good.
KFC. So good for everyone.
These are the doors that never close. These are the hands that make a difference. These are the walls that could tell countless stories of helping and healing, of storms weathered, of change and growth, of a place where life begins, where hearts are mended, and where hope grows stronger. For more than a quarter of a century, the physicians, medical professionals, and staff of St. Martin Medical Center have combined advanced medical technology and compassionate care to bring a world of medicine to our friends, neighbors, and visitors to the island of St. Martin we all call home. As proud as we are of what we have accomplished, we believe there is still much work to do to continue a proud tradition of providing everyone in our community with the latest technology, the best medicine, and the most exceptional care. St. Martin Medical Center, celebrating 25 years of serving, caring, healing.
Consequence of this publication, some members of the Dutch Parliament said that if, as a consequence of this, there is a financial crisis, then the crisis cannot be done at the expense of the Dutch taxpayer. I think I agree with that member of Parliament that financial crisis, then we are the one primarily responsible for any eventual financial crisis. But our track record indicate that so far we have been doing a very good job, and despite of those financial crises, then there is no, the global financial crisis, it did not have any repercussions for entities done here in Curaçao and St. Martin. But if, as a consequence of that concerted effort from Holland, through the publications, for instance, of this Financieel Dagblad and all those false allegations, trying to spread panic unnecessarily and unjustified among the clients of entities here, if that then boils down into a crisis, then that should be and for the Dutch government, because if they break it, they own it. Now we have proven that we can carry out our responsibility according to law and with very good results. It's not only now, for the past 30 years then, we have an impeccable record. And we have seen that the rest of the world, we have seen bank crises in America, we have seen bank crises in the UK, in Holland. So to pretend that we are not doing our job, then I think is preposterous, because we have been doing our job, our records is there to serve that, but then now we can see that a newspaper as the Financieel Dagblad is lending itself then to those people that like to intimidate the central bank from doing its job. And we will not, as long at least as I'm the president, we will not succumb to pressure from anybody. We will continue to do our job as the law then requires from us. I'd like to leave it here and then give you the opportunity for questions that you may have with regard to the presentation or for any other question that you would like to pose to me or my colleagues.
It's been said that behind every door, possibility awaits. How much possibility depends on which door you open first. Every day, we help our customers discover the possibilities in their lives. It all starts with a conversation. Scotiabank. Discover what's possible.
1,
2,
3,
4. This is how common it is to develop a mental illness. 1 out of every 4.
4.
4.
4. But there is hope. Today, most mental illnesses can be managed and treated. Visit your general doctor if you feel concerned about your thoughts and behaviors or have some difficulty dealing with some of life's issues.
If you have been diagnosed and are suffering from a mental illness, keep in mind these 4 points to help you manage your mental health.
1. Get regular checkups with your general doctor.
2. Stay on your treatment plan to prevent relapses.
3. Find a strong support group in your family and friends.
And 4. Never be afraid to ask for help and look out for the one and signs of your illness. Remember, you are not alone. We are as close as one.
2.
3.
4.
Learn about mental health illness by going to the Mental Health Foundation's website at www.mhf-sxm.com.
But that came in the last herald of her name. Her legs crushed. The colonies compacted it. Ruptured main artery. Dick line the ignoble name of Pawn Island. Severe blood loss. Lapping salt, weep of memories. But ding dang dong, I tell you. But ding dang dong, the gate still open, you check. And if I sail past the sea, the gaping gate flung wide open and desert still. But I tell you, I know. If a wandering tourist had legged here and was like, without asking, take a picture of your diaperless child, or feel up a grown man ass and get a God forbidden lash for thanks. And all the usual would be in a church. Bring a lock, stock, barrel, and cards and laws and protect and porting and safety and who ain't friendly and we economy. And what to do and to sell the oil and we economy. And government mouth down them and then shouting so sorry and we economy. And that piece of gate would have been shut one time, long time. Who she is again? What broke she blood from flow this time? Who's she? What is she again? Let's see. What set of broke she blood flow from this time? What is her beauty of gentle eyes, smiling, life and blue and black bleed on the dump, crushed pus, bottling and boiling on the great pond where life dunking, brine centuries gone was like a worthless nothing but grief and gone. Who's she? Let's end this one here. Let's end this one here and done the dump and the pawn and let's see how to park it away. A last ditch zone to own a ring, a road around, half a lick of whippling white sand of a salted torn crown, a strangling reed torn, more blood to seal the cradle of the nation. You want pretty folk for the dead. You want pretty folk for the dead. You want pretty folk for the dead.